Hi there. My name is Ron Yaish with BalanceFinancialLife.com. This is our series on IRAs. Today, more specifically, we're going to be focusing on Roth IRAs. And we're going to start with the basics. Let's not assume anything. If you know this stuff, it's going to be in the title, and you could skip over this part. But what is an IRA? Let's just get that out of the way, right? So let's go to our handy dandy notes. So an IRA specifically, we're going to focus not on the, we'll understand what Roth is, we'll understand what IRA is, but let's focus on the IRA because that comes up a lot. So an IRA is an individual retirement account. Basically, it's the government setting up these types of accounts, call it a savings account, potentially an investment account, to give individuals the opportunity to save for retirement. That's why it's called an individual retirement account, an IRA, as opposed to a plan sponsor account like a 401k or a 403b if you work for a not-for-profit or a hospital or something like that. There are many others, but that's just to give you an example. So that is what an IRA is. Now, essentially, in its very basic component, the purpose of the IRA is to allow you to put money into this account and allow that money to grow tax deferred. Okay, and what that means is, let's say, for example, you put in $100 today. And next year, that $100 became $110 because the companies that you invested in did well and they gave you some dividends. And you made $10 on that, right? I'm not talking about the value going up, right? Because there are two ways that that companies can grow, that portfolios could grow. We'll get to that in a different time. But so the example here is that you put in $100, next year you have $110. In a regular case, you would owe the government taxes on that $10 that you made, right? We're using the word made as opposed to growth. So, okay, so $10. Let's say you're in the 25%, bracket, or 20%, you would owe the government $2. Okay, and then the next year, let's say it went up another $20. Okay, so you would, on a 20% bracket, you would owe the government $4. So what we're saying here is, in a tax-deferred environment, the government is saying, don't pay me next year the $2 when you went from $100 to $110. And the year after, where you made another $20 and you were going to pay me $4, don't pay me that. So take this money, okay? Take this $6 that you were going to give me the first 2 years and keep it in your investments. I want that money to grow for you. I want you to make money on that money, right? Because if I took just those $6 in a make-believe world and I put them in a separate account and I wanted to know how that would grow, that's how you would tell the real impact of a retirement account, when you understand that you're making money on the profit that is coming from your account. Because I don't have to pay taxes on that today, and I don't have to pay for it. I don't have to pay for that tomorrow or the next day or the next month or the next year, depending on when you're going to retire. So that is what an IRA is. That's the purpose of it. We'll get into the details in a different video, but that's kind of the understanding of what an IRA is. So that's the same thing for when you hear things called a traditional IRA. You may hear things such as a Roth IRA, a SEP IRA, simple IRA. There are all these different types of IRAs out there. But bottom line, the purpose is to help the person who's eligible for that one. And I say the word eligible because we're not all eligible for these IRAs. And we'll explain that in a little bit. So if you're eligible for that and you are able to participate and you're able to put money in, that money essentially is being put aside for your retirement. Okay, so in this video, we're focusing on the Roth IRA. Okay, so what is Roth? Does Roth stand for something? No, it does not. In 1997, there was just looking here in my notes, there was a Tax Relief Act of 1997 that was put forward, and the sponsor of that, the person who was involved, the senator involved in leading that that Relief Act, was somebody by the name of Senator William Roth of Delaware. So what sometimes happens is, in order to give kind of a good job type of pat on the back, sometimes things are named after individuals. So in this case, this IRA that was part of that was established as part of that Tax Relief Act of 1997, it was coined as the Roth IRA. So we were able to tell which type of IRA one is discussing. You have to, because there are many, which IRA are you talking about? Now, this is a very specific type of IRA. My personal opinion is this is one of my most favorite IRAs, and we'll go and address that in our series coming up. So, okay, just don't want to clear my throat on you guys. Okay, so here we have the Roth IRA, and there are some, excuse me, woo. Okay, so what's the benefit? Why do I like the Roth IRA? Now, this is my opinion, okay? Some may like a different structure, a different type of an investment. But the reason why I like this is because, well, let me kind of give you an idea of how this would work, okay? So I'm just going to use an example, okay? So somebody who makes, well, just for even sake, it may be too much, it may be too little for some. Somebody who makes $100,000, okay? So that person puts their money into their 401k or what have you, and let's say that person puts $10,000 into their 401k. Okay, so at the end of the year when they're ready to do their taxes, they're going to be paying taxes on only $90,000 because they put $10,000 into their 401k. We're not having a discussion on a 401k, but I'm just trying to give you an idea of to better understand the Roth IRA. So you've basically done what they call, you've deferred this $10,000, okay? So you're not getting taxed on that money today. You're going to get taxed on it at a different point. And we call that pre-tax dollars, okay? That this $10,000 is not being taxed now. It's getting put into your 401k. So you're only going to be taxed on $90,000. Now, this individual wants to put $5,000 into a Roth IRA. Well, guess what? At the end of the year, when you're ready to pay taxes, you're going to be paying taxes on $90,000. Wait a second. This is a retirement account. Isn't it pre-tax dollars? No. The Roth IRA is one of the few accounts that are retirement accounts, or is a retirement account, that one does not put the money in pre-tax. It's money that's already sitting in your account. Now, it doesn't mean you have to take the money out and pay taxes on it and then you're eligible to put the money in. But it's money that isn't going to be deducted. It isn't money that is going in before you're getting a tax. It's money that is already after tax dollars. So it's part of that $90,000 that you would be getting for that year. Okay? So 401k money is the $10,000 is taken out. So you're not taxed on $100,000 that year. You're only taxed $90,000. You put another $5,000 into the Roth, and you're taxed still at $90,000 because it's not pre-tax dollars. Because it's not pre-tax dollars. Okay, this is, don't lose me here. I don't want to lose you here. Okay, both the 401k and the Roth IRA, both of them will grow over all these years, and you won't have to pay taxes on the money as they grow, as the accounts grow. Okay, so call it tax deferred. At age 59 and a half, that's when you are allowed to take the money out assuming in the 401k you're not still working at that company because they may have their own rules, but at 59 and a half, you could take the money out without getting penalized. However, okay, when you take the money out of the 401k money, the government says, knock, knock, knock. I want the taxes that I allowed you to defer way back when. Remember that $10,000? Remember you made $100,000 in year one and you put $10,000 into the 401k and I allowed you to only get taxed on $90,000? Remember I gave you that really awesome opportunity? So that $10,000 that I allowed you to put in, now you got to pay me. You take out $10,000 out of your 401k, that is now going to be taxed as income. Not long-term gains, but income. Okay, so that is your 401k. The Roth, you want to take $10,000 out of that Roth? Wait a second, Mr. Government person. This is money that I already paid taxes on way back when. I know over the years I didn't pay taxes because it was deferred, just like the 401k. But this is money that I already paid taxes on in year one. This is post-tax dollars. That's part of that $90,000. I didn't get a benefit from you then. So then the government says, which is why this is awesome, because of the Tax Relief Act of 1997 and Senator Roth, go Senator Roth. The government says when you take that 10 grand at 59 and a half or any time after 59 and a half, you don't have to pay any taxes. What? I don't have to pay any taxes? Yeah. And there are other cool advantages. But we're not going to get into all that now because I don't want to do a whole what's the difference between a Roth IRA and a 401k, because we'll get to that at a different time. Okay, so what did we learn? What a Roth is, what an IRA is, okay? And we learned about an IRA and the money that goes into a Roth IRA, specifically a Roth, not any other IRA, is post-tax dollars. So because it's money that I already paid taxes on in year one, the government is going to allow me to take that money out without paying any taxes. Now, this is a pretty sweet deal. So the government says, okay, whoa. Buddies, listen to me. I have this account, and it's a really sweet account, but I can't just let anybody use it whenever they want. So there are three conditions, okay, if you will, in order to contribute to this Roth IRA, to this, in my opinion, pretty awesome retirement account. So number one, your income is taken into consideration for eligibility. Three things: income, how you file, and your age. Okay, so these are the three things that come into play. How does that work out? Okay, so number one, the money that you could put, the only money you could put into a Roth IRA is money that is from income. So it can't be money that's been sitting around. It can't be money that grandma gave you. It can't be holiday money that you got from your uncle. If you earned money, then you could put it into the Roth IRA. Now, how much you're allowed to put in, the government gives you a very specific limit on how much you're allowed to put in every year. So, for example, in 2019, one could put in $6,000 into the Roth IRA. If you're over age 50, there's a special additional $1,000 that you can contribute. They call it a catch-up. They're trying to help those that may not have saved as much in their younger years as they are focusing on pre-retirement planning. So they're allowed to put in $7,000. So you could put in a max of $6,000. Under 50, over 50, you could put in $7,000. Okay, so number one, it has to be income. Number two, how much you make within that income is important. And that's what has to do with the filing status. Okay, when you file, okay, are you filing as a single? Are you filing married separately? Are you filing married? There are different criteria and there are different rules. So for example, somebody who is filing as a single individual in 2019, they have to be making less than $122,000. Now that is going up in 2020, and somebody who's filing jointly can put in as a couple, because they're filing jointly, as long as they're making less than 193,000 or up to 193,000. Sorry, it's less than 193,000. They are eligible for the Roth IRA. So it's how much you make, right? Because the government's saying, this is just me and my own opinion here, right? The government's saying this is a really, really special account. And if you're making a gazillion dollars, I don't want you to benefit from this really sweet tax opportunity to not have to pay taxes in the future. This is not meant for the gazillionaire. This is meant for the common Joe or somebody who is, who's making under a certain amount, and they determine a threshold, right? If you're making less than 193,000 joint, if you're making less than 122,000 as a single filer. Okay. So that is your income. Okay, so number one, it has to be money that is income. Number two, how you file makes a difference, and you do get an advantage. You could contribute a little more if you are over the age of 50. So now we have to answer some basic questions that usually come up. Okay, so I wanted to focus on three more very important aspects of the Roth IRA. And one of them has to do with income. Well, what if in the situation somebody has a partner or spouse that is working and you are not working? So the government says, wait a second. We're not penalizing you for not working. Okay, if you're filing jointly and you have a spouse, a partner, and your partner is earning income, you are allowed to contribute as well. So, for example, in 2019, when the limit for an individual under the age of 50 is $6,000, you could contribute as somebody who doesn't work but has a spouse that works. You can contribute as well. So the household filing jointly can put away $12,000 into Roth accounts, right? It's a his account, her account, or partner one, partner two account, and each could put in $6,000. Okay, so that's the first thing I wanted to cover regarding the importance of a Roth IRA. The second thing, which is very important to be made aware of, hold on, let me just grab a drink here. Is that as opposed to the other types of retirement accounts that the government has allowed individuals to establish, such as traditional IRAs or 401ks, at age 70 and a half, the government says, knock, knock, I want to start getting paid for the tax deferrals that I allowed you to have all these years. So at 70 and a half, there's a formula. You have to start paying the government back, and there's a big deal if you don't. There's a penalty, is approximately 50% if you don't pay the government back. So that's really a big deal. Except the Roth doesn't have this 70 and a half obligation. So you do not need to take the money out at 70 and a half, which is really awesome. So that is the second point I wanted to make regarding a Roth IRA. And the third point is really A and a B. Okay, so, let's say it's 2019. How long do I have to contribute? Do I have till December 31st? do I have till I file, in April of the following year? So that's what the government allows you to do. They allow you to go till official filing time the following year. That is the time that you're allowed to make your 2019 contributions. You could do it anytime in 2019, or you can go as late as April 15th of the following year. So that was important. The other thing, which is beyond the scope and, is something called a backdoor Roth IRA, which is some of us have heard about, and it's a strategy that is way beyond the scope of this conversation, but that is something that exists. And I will close with something else, and we'll have a separate discussion regarding, individuals that go into work and they get the paperwork and they're looking at how to fill out their retirement accounts, and they're looking and they see, oh my, I have something called a 401k and I have something called a Roth 401k. So those are two things that are going to be coming up the pike, and we'll discuss that in the future. Not trying to leave you high and dry, just trying to let you know that there are other aspects of a Roth IRA that are important to know about. Please share comments, ask questions if you have any down below, or go to our website, balancedfinanciallife.com. We have a section throughout the website called Ask Ron, and you can give us your question, and we like to address those and reply back, and do our best to get back to you in a timely fashion. So that's basically it. And again, thank you for joining us. This is our series on IRAs. My name is Ron Yaish from Balanced Financial Life.